Yes.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be
now
better.
I'll be yelling and screaming here in the
No, that's okay. That's all right.
No problem.
Luckily, you haven't said anything interesting yet, so no one missed anything.
Well, how's everybody's Christmas? I guarantee you guys put in lists for presents. Then is that what the problem is?
No, God, no.
I got a hat, and it was the Buffalo Bills emblem. Beautiful hat but it was kind of shaped like a chicken wing,
an orange,
and it was like it looked like a hot wing. Best gift I've ever got.
Unreal hat.
Best gift.
Was it a gag gift or not?
No, I'm a huge Bills.
Lights and
I know everybody's a huge Bills fan. They got a chance to win this year.
And if they do win this weekend, Ozempic's going to Denver.
Free profits.
Put it this way. I chose them at the start of the year. I'm not the biggest NFL guy. I chose them at day one. I said, I think the Bills get it done this year. I love Josh Allen. And you know why I like Josh Allen? Because he's humble. He's not a loser that like makes all these comments in the media and stuff. When he signed his deal and he could have got more, he said, we're fine. Our family's fine. My wife, my kids' kids will be taken care of. He didn't squeeze the organization for every penny. I love that guy. I really do.
Yeah, he's not like Parekh running his mouth.
Oh, geez.
Oh. Where are you guys at with this? I mean,
what do you mean
19 years old.
One guy here yelling trade him, and we're like, what?
I yelled trade him because of his shitty play at the end of the game, not because of what he
That's
said.
right. You said trade him.
Okay, do you want me to weigh in on it? You guys go.
Not really.
We don't give a shit.
We don't really
find it
Well,
hilarious.
weigh in on the play, not the comments. The comments are
it's much ado about nothing. I don't know.
I agree. And he's 19, and he actually plays with a guy who was 19 and played in Toronto and had that same type of swagger named Nazem Kadri.
True.
And, if anything, if the team's mad, maybe they say, hey, just, it's not as respectful or whatever. I really didn't care that much. I just think what you do is you shine a light. He was having some fun with the scrum. He's 19. And if people have a problem with it within the dressing room, they say, hey, smarten up next time. And that's it. Like, nothing else. Like, I don't
They shouldn't even say it because they shouldn't be paying attention. It's much like your Christmas list as an adult. You just don't worry about it.
Like celebrating birthdays. Isn't that your thing? Birthdays?
Yes.
Well, no, I don't accept gifts anyways. But here's my thing. Do you think Blake Coleman lost sleep over it? No. The guy's
No,
you know what I mean? Blake Coleman, do you think he's telling his wife and kids, I got to have a chat with this 19-year-old when he gets back from the World Junior? No.
Wow.
At the end of the day, the kid is uber talented. He's got warts on his game, like every young kid that he's got to get out of his game. It's up to the Flames to develop him. And, he'll get that opportunity here, hopefully when, he gets back. I think, is he joining the team in Montreal tonight?
Yep.
Yeah, he's there.
Okay, so we'll see how he plays. I mean, they're where are you guys at? They're in a race? Do you think they can make it? What are we doing here?
Well, I did the hot take with Boomer and Jack when you took the week off, and I said, because they were right on the cusp.
They were a point out.
Will they have at least one day where they wake up in a playoff position? And then we were all like, yes. And then they promptly lost back-to-back and are in 30th.
They're 30th.
Yeah, it's so tight, though. I'm telling you, you have one good week. Like they at one point, I believe, was it last week when I was taking my time off, they were the fourth hottest team in the NHL.
They were unbelievable. Yeah. Since November, they've been,
nothing quite like losing to Nashville.
Since Parekh got hurt, they've been awesome.
Yeah. Yes, but at the end of the day, I still think Connie sticks with the plan, whatever the plan is.
They don't know what the plan. This is the issue we have in Calgary, and I don't even want to talk to you about Calgary because it's the same GD thing. Nobody knows what the plan is. They say one thing, they do other. No, there's no. It's
that I disagree.
It's the plastic bag in the wind.
They know what they're doing. They just don't. They don't need to let us know what they're doing. They are just going to do it. We're going to wake up and see something happen. I don't know. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Let me ask you guys this: if by March 6th, how different will that team look?
Hopefully,
we want it to be
significantly different.
History would say not as different as we want.
Sorry, I'm stepping on you, but we all agree, and we're going to say the same thing. We all think here, and this is for the goalie in you. The one thing you can't not have is goaltending. And if you have goaltending, you can build. They have a goaltender. So their fear of going in the tank for a decade doesn't hold weight with me.
Right.
Because you have a goalie
For
and you
8
can
years.
build out from him.
Yes.
And your cupboards aren't completely bare. And if you traded Coleman, you're going to get something in return.
Yep.
If you trade Anderson, you're going to get something in return. If you trade Kadri, you're going to get good pieces in return. This is not we have to start from scratch, a new recipe book. They have pieces in place. Build it with the kids.
And here's the other thing, Rhett, that I agree with you 100%, and I'll even throw a comment on top of that. The assets that you get back potentially for those players that you named might be impactful right away. Just good young players that they get. They might get you might get prospects, or you might get young NHL players that it might not be a massive drop off from the players or where they're at. Yes, Nazem Kadri is a really skilled guy. I don't know if they end up moving him. Keep in mind, I believe Nazem controls his own destiny, right? Does he?
A little bit. I think he's got
Slightly.
10 or 13 teams.
The point of it is, it's not who you move, it's that you do move guys and you make those changes and you get assets in return. You're not San Jose's better because they got a goaltender and clearly Celebrini, but without the goaltender, they weren't as good.
Yeah.
Same, I think Knight in Chicago has been helped them out. That guy in Anaheim has helped them out. Who's still hurting? Buffalo's still hurting, and part of it's because of the goaltender, and Ottawa is still finding its way, and it's all because of goaltending.
I read a stat this morning that we're probably going to have on our broadcast tonight. It's through Money Puck, which I don't know how trusted that analytics site is because I use SportLogic a lot. But Pinder, you could probably talk to this. The Ottawa Senators are number 1 in expected goals. Number 1.
Really?
But last place in expected goals save percentage. So that says it all right there, right? This is a team, the other night I watched them play. I didn't do the game, but the other night they lost against Detroit 5-3. They outchanced them 24-11, high danger chances.
Yeah, didn't they have that goalie get pulled after 8 shots, 3 goals or something?
Marolainen got pulled after his 9 shots, 3 on 9. Didn't have his goods. I get it. Everyone has an off night. I would come back. Now, I'm in Utah tonight. They play tomorrow in Colorado. Colorado's got to be pissed. They've lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, they'll be sour.
And in a back-to-back situation. But in the end, what I'm talking about is you're exactly right. You build it from the net out. Calgary's got a stud, a literal stud.
They're overplaying him again.
You might have a stud in Parekh. You might have something there. I think he's has the framework of something. I'm trying to find comparables. Does he not, for me, play a little bit like Evan Bouchard?
We've only been saying that for 2 months.
Yeah, nobody wants.
We want Calgary Noodles. Maybe say Carlson or something. Get us off the scent a bit.
He doesn't skate as well as Erik Karlsson. I'm sorry. Fair. He's straight-legged. He's got the Forrest Gump stilts on like Evan Bouchard. So I'm sorry. You guys could. I know you hate Edmonton, but I'm just saying it's a hell of a comparison if you have an Evan Bouchard. Put it that way. That's
Yeah, like we've talked about the Bouchard thing a lot. He's an incredibly polarizing player. He's incredibly good at one end and incredibly bad at the other. And how you net those two things out, person to person, is very different. So just back to Flames real quick. If they have a plan and you believe that Connie is going to liquidate veterans and get younger players, and they are actually on a rebuild, and they don't want to say it publicly, why would an organization put the president of hockey operations out there and say the opposite? Like, is that not insulting your fan base? Why would you just not speak? If you don't want people to know, then just don't lie to them and don't talk.
Yeah, I don't know, and I honestly don't have those answers. But I'm bullish on Connie. I'm bullish on, and I want to give him. I think he's done a really good job. Pinder, how many times have you pointed out how well he's drafted? And I'm bullish on there being a plan there. It just, whether they let us know or not, you're right. If it's, whether you deem it disrespectful or not, I think we would all agree probably Donnie Maloney probably shouldn't have done that interview. It's fair. It's fair to say, because it just, if they're saying one thing and doing the other. I think what Don, and I have a long history going back to 1994 with Don Maloney. He was my general manager of the Islanders. Don is a good hockey guy, but I don't think he's the best communicator. And so in front of a mic, he probably was trying to say one thing and it
Ricky
came out the
Bobby.
wrong way.
Little Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
I don't know what to do with his
whatever it is.
hands.
But the thing is I remember Don having a heart-to-heart with me one time, and I walked away from the conversation going, I feel like I know what he's trying to say, but he didn't. He was trying to tell me I was awful without telling me I was awful. It was,
Opposite of Daryl Sutter.
Yeah.
Yes, where Daryl, like I say, you walk into Daryl's office. When you walk out, you walk underneath the crack of the door. You just go right.
You don't have to.
You're Fred Flintstone. So I think at the end of the day, I do believe that this team will look different. But again, I don't know what they're going to do, and that's the proof is in the pudding, guys.
You've seen Montreal a lot. The Flames are in Montreal tonight. What can you tell us about the Habs? They're 10 games over 500, if I'm correct. That's a tidy number right now.
Ultra skilled, and their skill is not afraid to make plays. Almost to the point where they like on a partial breakaway, they're looking for options. It's weird. They all. I think Marty St. Louis has told those guys, go relax and play and make plays, and they do. This Demidov is the stud. The guy who really turned the corner for me is Slavkovsky. I think he's realized how big of a man he is,
right?
And how he can bully other people around. So he goes and he's got tremendous chemistry with Suzuki and Caulfield because he can go get the puck. So and the other thing I'll add into Montreal is some of their, we'll call legacy players like Gallagher, Josh Anderson, guys like that have played well this year. So it hasn't been, the other thing is, knock on wood for them. I know Kirby Doc has been hurt. Newhook's been hurt. They've been relatively healthy considering what they've had. Patrick Laine, obviously, in past years, they've shut guys down and really bottomed out. They're a lot more healthy. And they had a goaltender controversy. This Fowler kid can play. He's the young Carey Price. He's good. Montembeault played well the other day. I think they've got a three-headed monster there that they can at least trust. Put it that way.
I don't know why I'm thinking about this because I don't really care. But with Jari being hurt in Edmonton and a three-headed monster in Montreal, can Edmonton approach that at all, or are they stuck with what they got?
No, I think Edmonton's goaltending is better than they were a month ago because I think I've told you guys this before. I think Ingram's a really good goaltender that needed to step away from the game and take some personal time. But if you look at his skill set, he's probably in the upper tier of skill set for goaltenders. He's got a good butterfly, moves really well. He's only 28 years old. And Jari, I believe, is an upgrade on Stuart Skinner from a stylistic standpoint. So when they're healthy, I think by the deadline, it's Jari and Ingram. And if they can have Pickard as a 3, that's a pretty good 1-2-3 there.
So is the three-headed monster in Montreal good enough to bring more assets back in return if they decided to move a Montembeault? Like we were talking about Team Canada for him.
Wow.
I would worry, guys. I would worry about moving Montembeault. He's the only guy. He played over 62 games last year. The other guys don't have any experience, and they're kids. So would you trust a 23 and 20-year-old to
well, that
try and
Civ
get you
that we
through in the
played with,
playoffs?
he was pretty young and inexperienced when he came along. So I don't know.
Who Mika?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mika was a superstar, but he had 2 old goats kicking beside him, myself and Roman Turek. So like there was somewhat of a safety blanket there, especially with Roman. But if there's no safety blanket, now all of a sudden it's a lot different when you're the guy compared to, hey, I'm having a nice stretch here. Keep in mind that's a high pressure market. I think it's all right for guys to struggle. Like Montembeault is a good goaltender that has struggled this year. You can't have your best year every year. I don't think Montreal does anything with their goaltenders. I think they keep those 3, and you can put Fowler in the minors without waivers.
Do they still need a center? It's funny. Like as good as they've been, we talked about their record. Like it's still Oliver Kapanen as the number 2 center. That's
who
exactly. And he's had a great year.
He's been good.
And they had Deneau, but he's probably a 3C, not a 2C at this point. And it's like Doc can't stay healthy, and when he does, he's not as good as a lot of teams too. Like they're still shopping for a center. You think, right?
I would still think that Craig Conroy's on the call list. to see if Nazem Kadri, what it would take. I would. If I'm Montreal, why not? I mean, Kadri's won. He's a bastard to play against, and that's a good thing. I'm saying that's a great thing. He's highly skilled. He's competitive. I think there would be a lot of teams that would be looking at Naz to add to the depth of their group. But again, what are you giving up? That's the thing. They got Reinbacher, the defenseman. I don't know if they would want to move him, but in the end, you've got to give to get. So they definitely, I think. I don't know where they believe Doc is. Doc had a good start to the season. I like him as a player, but he can't stay healthy. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, ever.
Question for you.
Yes.
You kind of talk about like with the metrics and stuff. So some of the analysis and the data that is used is fairly new. But I'm reading that we saw maybe the worst goaltending performance in history last night, as Jacob Markstrom allowed 9 on 24. I guess just because you're the goalie, have you seen, how many times have you seen a guy stay in for 9? How many times have you seen 9?
That's when Patrick Waugh walked back.
Patrick Waugh.
And Waugh's in the building, right? So Waugh is coaching the
That's
Islanders.
right. I didn't think
Yeah,
about it.
Right? So it's amazing night.
Patrick Waugh went over and said, you know what he said, trade me right, you know what now.
Yeah.
And I don't know the layer of the story of why he was kept in for 9. Maybe Allen was sick or whatever, sometimes or banged up. You don't keep a starter in ever. I have this belief, and it was since I was a goalie coach. The minute 6, the number 6 arrives, it's check, please. If it's 6-1, not if it's 6-5. Like if the game's close and it's just one of those 80s style shootouts, no problem. But if it's 6-2, I don't like ever the potential of having a converted touchdown on my starter. Ever.
Is he even the starter now? Like, that's where I'm at with Jacob Markstrom. I think if it was winning you're in last game of the season, I think they're starting Allen.
Yeah, that's fair. Based on his season, that's a fair argument, Pinder. I'm more just saying he's brought in there as a starter. I think he's more
big money guy.
I think it's a tandem situation, but I just don't think you embarrass anybody that you want to have confidence in ever past the number 7. Like 6 for me. I remember, I'll tell a quick story. When I was the goalie coach in Calgary, and we had, I think it was the last game of the season, we were in Vancouver, and the Sedins, I think Henrik was going for the scoring race, the Art Ross, and they rinsed us. I think the game ended up like 7-1 or 6-something. And I remember there was a between the legs move on the power play, and Sedin scored on Kipper, and I called down and said, get him out of there. And they were like, just leave him in. And I was like, no, get him out of there, because it was a throwaway game for us. It was the last game of the season. Probably half the team was at the Roxy the night before. Who knows? But it was just one of those scenarios where I don't like a guy getting embarrassed like that. So that 9 really hurts my heart for Jacob, because, regardless of his season and that, I love the guy personally, and I got a lot of time for him. And I don't think that's respectful to a goaltender ever, to leave him in there like that, ever.
There's got to be.
Because Sheldon Keefe talked about it afterwards. The Devils outshot the Islanders 44-24.
Sorokin was unbelievable.
Sorokin,
that's the other side.
And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So Patrick was in the building. It's 9 on 24. Sorokin sets a franchise record for shutouts at the other end. So it's not just you gave up 9, you then scored none. So Keefe just kind of said, I felt like we were kind of right there. We were out shooting. We were getting a ton of chances. We just weren't getting saves. And then we come out in the second, we keep Markey in there, and then another couple go in. It's like, well, we're taking the loss. It's just going to ride this thing out. But I do wonder, just the goalie doesn't necessarily see it that way. They're getting.
Well, I remember hearing a story where a goalie got pulled, and he did the moonwalk to the bench. And this was in the AHL.
Jeez.
He did the moonwalk to the bench because he was pissed at the coach. And the goalie going in was laughing. It was just like, oh, my God, this is a circus. But there was something involved, like a 9 or a 10 involved. And I don't know New Jersey's schedule. Was it a back-to-back?
They're not playing
Are they
tonight.
playing tonight?
No, they play in Pittsburgh tomorrow. I don't get it.
Unless Jake Allen was had the flu or sick, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you take him out at 6 or 7 just for respect for the goaltender. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And they didn't play the night before. It's weird. And I haven't watched the Sheldon Keefe post, but to your point,
He
it
just
didn't
kinda
sound like
said-
there was a good explanation.
Yeah, he said, I felt like offensively, this is one of the best games we've had in a while in terms of chance, chance generation.
They
It's
outchanced
like
them.
Torts when
Yeah,
the
but-
Flames were playing Columbus.
Yeah,
if I felt like if we just got that 8th
That
goal,
7th goal really took the wind out of our
Just-
sails.
There must be something, to me, there's something behind that story, behind the scenes. That's what it is for me. Because, whether Markey said to him, don't take me out, I'm going to grind through, or Sheldon was sending an FU to the goalie. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it just,
Either way.
the optics of it are awful. I don't like it at all.
The other part is too, again, it's just the layers of it from Markey's time being here and how, kind of upset or offended he was when the trade, they came to him to waive the no trace. If he got offended by that,
Look out.
how do you feel being in there, like you say, getting rinsed for a 9 spot? And the Islanders, Noodles, your former team, they're loving life. Matthew Schaefer is electric. They had they just ran the Devils out of the building. What's going on there?
This Schaefer's a player, man. Like, even watching him, I've watched him live twice now. Watched him against the Leafs the other night. Austin Matthews special night, and Schaefer goes, hold my beer. I'm going to put a clinic on too. And the kid's 18. 18. I think the underwear I'm wearing is older than that kid. It's insane. He is so good. He's so good.
He's got less holes in his game than your underwear too, hey?
No. I do laundry every day. I'm very clean.
So the Islanders are really good and kind of out of nowhere, but partly because of Sorokin and Schaefer. What is going on with the team in Manitoba?
You know what? I think it's one of those years where everything's gone wrong. And, you're not getting career years out of Scheifele and Connor like you did last year. Hellebuck, with the injury, he's had a tough time. They weren't getting any. They had Eric Comrie against the Leafs the other day. They were up 4-1. The hat-trick goal for Matthews, he might as well shot it in the net himself, because I didn't know what was going on with that goal. He went to play it behind the net, and all of a sudden it was in front of the net. I don't know what happened. But I feel bad for these guys. But it might be one of those years where they just say, it's not our year. They trade a few assets and they retool and go right back at it next year, like Boston did last year.
Yeah, it's 10 straight. 6-4 in their last 10.
And to the point earlier, the good news for the Jets is that if there's ever a year to be last, like, it's never been closer to a playoff spot than this year.
May as well. Yeah.
Like, if they lose 9 in a row, they win 7 in a row, they're probably right back where they want to be.
I say sell.
Who are they selling though? Like, they've kind of locked up.
I don't even care if you sell, just don't win, because I said it about Florida. I just think that some of these teams that have been really good, and I think the Jets are one of them. They've been well run. I like their team. I like their makeup. Add another high-end piece by having.
I'm sorry to jump on. You know what you can do? This Hellebuck injury, we're gonna play Comrie a lot more. Hellebuck, you've played so much hockey. You can rest him, and you've got that injury to kind of, like you say. If there's nothing to sell, you're definitely not adding. Sell if you can.
You're winning by. I think they have their first rounder.
They do this year.
So if you can get in that bottom 3 and get a top 3 pick, you are now again back at the top of the list as far as Stanley Cup favorites.
And think of this, guys. Kevin Cheveldayoff has done a great job drafting and developing there, because they have to. It's not a market that has been a primo destination for free agents. So, Chevy has to draft and develop and keep his players. He's been able to do that. Keep in mind, it was a couple years ago, we all thought Hellebuck and Scheifele were out of there. They both committed long-term. So they've got their pieces. It's one of those years where it's like, we're missing Ehlers. He moved on. Morrissey, I don't think, is having his best season. You look at it, they're just,
they're in one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to Cole Perfetti. Perfetti, that's a guy who's a good young player, but he hasn't been his best. Adam Lowry missed 2 months.
Yep.
Like, it's just one of those seasons where it's. I think if they just continue on with osmosis and win some and lose some, They won't make the playoffs, and you can get a good pick. You can trade some players at the deadline that are coveted, and you can retool and go right back at it next year. Because I do think they have a framework of a good team.
Two things will get you out of here. Number one, the Rob Ray update.
Yes,
we haven't spoken to you since. And number two, the Flames are in Montreal. I remember the Chien Show hot dog. You have a hot dog story. So those two on the way out.
Okay, do you want me to move to a quieter place? Because they're really
good. You're good.
Really making a lot of noise out here. Okay, the Rob Ray update was that day, the 23rd. I went to I didn't go to morning skate because my flight was delayed coming in. And apparently Rob doesn't go to morning skates a lot anyway, so it's not a big deal. So I messaged him when I got to the rink at like 5:30 because I saw him in the hallway and I said, hey, I'm in my room. Pop by if you want to say, want to have a chat. He didn't pop by. I had to do a Sports Center hit at 6 o'clock. And I came back from that and I saw him in the hallway and I walked down towards him and he walked away from me. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So I walked in behind him and I said, listen, I'm sorry. He goes, Jamie, now I look back, he was acting, but he was like, it's fine, Jamie. It's fine. And I was like, well, I said, I feel bad. I feel bad. And I was trying to apologize. And he was like, Jamie, just don't worry about it. You do your thing. I'll do my thing. And I was like, okay. I thought it was a bit weird. And then, in between the benches, we're right beside each other. And I was like, my wife calls me before the game and she goes, how did it go? And I go, I don't know. I'm just fine. But I was like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I said, I think he's mad, legitimately mad. So then the whole game goes on. I don't talk to him. He doesn't talk to me. And with about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left, the last TV timeout, I'm on my headset, talking to my producer, and I can feel his face right here. And I turn and he goes, I've just been messing with you. And I go, all right, well, but I'm we can't have a conversation. I'm working and he's working. So then I tap him and we shake hands or whatever. And then after the game, I think Buffalo won. I'm trying to remember. I think Buffalo won in overtime. And I go into my office and he's in there. And he shakes my hand. He goes, yeah, we were messing with you. And I go, well, it's just a weird, I don't know if this is Buffalo humor, but it went on for
oh yeah,
it was weeks, So it was even that night I was like, okay, at some point somebody could have let me know, but it was just a weird, it was fine. So we just said, have a good Christmas. I gave him a handshake and a hug. And the weird thing is he goes, yeah, Ty Domi sent me the clip. And I was like, why is Ty Domi mad about me? I was just it was such a weird dynamic of all this.
Ty Domi's an asshole. Hey, James. Let's talk about Ty Domi.
I'm not saying anything negative about anybody. Put it that way. I don't need another guy chasing me around. So, anyways, it was a good. We had a good conversation after and a good chuckle. So it was nice to catch up. But that's why the weirdest thing about all this, I was like, there is no way this guy could be mad about that comment. He's got such a dry sense of humor and he's a pretty funny guy. And so then that's in the back of my mind, I was 80% sure that he was joking, but not 100.
I think it dipped though. I think you dipped. You dipped from 80 at times.
It dipped to about 20% when I went and talked to him because I was like, all right, that's weird. But anyways, you guys know I love Rob. So, and then what was the other thing you asked me about?
Hot dogs in Montreal tonight.
So good.
Okay, so when I was playing for the St. Louis Blues, you guys know that the backup goaltender sits across in the stands, basically. So Sheehan Shodes, they're everywhere. They're in the dressing room, they're in the trainer's room and all that. I don't know why, for some reason, in the second period, I had one in my glove. And I was eating it while we were watching the game. I was like a paid spectator, right? And Fierzy was playing, and I'm eating it in my glove. And after the second period, Mike Kitchen, the assistant coach, comes in and goes, "Hey, Quenneville wants to see you. Q wants to see you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Like maybe they want my opinion on some like pre-scout stuff, the power play. Who knows? There was a camera from above that shot it for the broadcast, and you could see the hot dog in my glove, and I was eating it. So he showed me the video, and he goes, "You enjoying your hot dog?" And I was like, "You're kind of embarrassed." I was like, "Yeah, they're pretty good." And no joke, they had a box there, and they were eating them themselves, and they were laughing. So, nobody was mad, but they busted me, put it that way.
That's good.
And then fast forward the next year, I started in Montreal, and I'll never forget, Fierzy taps me before the game, and he goes, "How do you feel, chum?" I go, "I'm all right." He goes, "Good, because I had 4 hot dogs, so I'm not coming." I go, "All right, so be it." So that
And then was
shit
it-
showed that the players got to stay away from him until after the game.
Yes, and it's hard to do. They're everywhere,
So
like you
good.
said.
Steamed
Oh.
And
buns.
the crazy thing is, they're a boiled hot dog. It's the bun. It's
Yeah.
the bun.
It's the
The
bun.
hot dogs aren't that good. It's the bun.
It'll get you. It'll get you.
All right.
See you, buddy.
Great having you
All right,
back,
guys.
pal. Happy New Year. Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.